in most of the mixes that we listen to. That's why I'm either running the DBX, the sub-harmonic synthesizer, or you can use the NS10 sub. Those are the things that, just throwing that against it, just give me just a little tiny bit on the end, on the bottom. And even if you put a little tiny bit in, the mastering engineer will be able to put it up a little bit more. Really fantastic work. Okay, next up is Nick. Let's have a listen. And his version of Stay.
Landed here with the world 2 steps away, sizing up the line I've crossed 100 times, taking count of all the nights considered lost, holding tight to who we were before I knew of all the dirt. Don't leave, I need you now. And when I do what's right, I know I'll make you proud. Instead of pacing back and forth and giving in when you want more. So it's a shame now that I can't follow. Stars allow it. It's even worse when I'm close and deny it. I shouldn't ask when I know you want me now. You want me now. Landed here with the world 2 steps away, sizing up the lie I've told 100 times. I can hear it in the way you say my name. There isn't any magic cure, I just refuse to leave the dirt. Stay with me, don't leave, I need you now. When I clear my mind, I know without a doubt, no one loves me like you do. It's hard to turn from all the proof, so it's a shame now that I can't follow. calling, I'm coming. Stay and wait for me, I'll find you here.
I wanted to listen to it in its entirety because I felt like stopping it to say some things that may be a little obvious that we're noticing. Just you know what I mean. So I agree. I agree. Yes, it sounds like the vocal thickening trick is super hot in this, and probably a little too heavily featured. Um, I mean, that's probably what it is on the vocal effect, because it almost sounds like it's flanging. And I think what it is that vocal thickening trick is essentially chorusing. Because it's going plus and minus, plus and minus, and so I don't know if it's a flanging. I just think it's the vocal thickening trick. I did really like the fact that Nick took risks and did his own thing. I love those tom overdubs. I feel like fundamentally take the vocal effect down. I like it being strange, but it almost is like it's strange. Then when we got to the chorus, maybe it needed to be less strange. So maybe it is like this in the verse.
All the nights considered lost, holding tight to who we were before I knew of all the dirt. And stay with me.
It feels like it's either should lessen when it comes to that section or just be less all over. The other thing is like I like the intro. It was weird and twisted, but when it came to the re-intro, I think the piano could come back to be a little bit more natural here. Super low. I need that piano to be hotter. But you see, this is what's important. I know I talked about this a lot when I judged that Rate the Mix competition, how it was they were only judging on the technical. The thing is like we can learn a lot of this technical, and we are learning the technical, and people have come in here. There's a couple of people we can talk about that have come in here barely being able to mix anything. And within about 2 months, their mixes have gone straight up to a really super high level because the community helps everybody so quickly grow. But what happens here is this coming in like this with a high level of creativity is a big deal. So if you come in super creative and then we can help each other grow on the technical lines, that is where you are going to end up. Exactly. Mike's saying great production ideas. That's the point. I totally get it. There are some amazing mixers in here, like some incredible guys and girls that know how to mix. But the creative side of it, that's where it really goes. And I'll tell you, the more you grow that, the more active you are, the more you share and help each other, the better your career will be. It's absolutely incredible. Anyway, so great work. We know the things to improve. Basically, the less effect on the vocal would be absolutely wonderful. I feel like it's going about here.
Stay with me, don't leave, I need you now. When I clear my mind, I know without a doubt, no one loves me like you do.
It's nice, and nothing phases when it goes in the middle. Nothing's canceling out. So I don't think Nick's using any kind of, MSC kind of stuff. It could be, I like how dark it is. I like the overall feeling of like, it's kind of, subdued, like, dun, dun, da, dun, dun, da, like what's going on? I mean, that's really, really a very creative kind of thing. I just think you could probably get a bit of everything. It could be a little brighter on those guitars, the thump of the kick. I'd like to hear that kick go boom, 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 boom through the whole track. If it could just be thumping along and there was some clarity down there and there was some 40 to 60 of just the kick and nothing like crossing over or not much crossing over with it, I think that would really elevate the mix. So I like the bass. I like that kind of like very obvious kind of Fender jazzy sound that it's got. I love that. But I want that thump of that kick. So I think a little less effect on the vocal, more of the thump of the kick, showcase the piano when it's playing the melody, and just brighten up a few things, particularly the guitars. I think that they would really, really benefit from that. But otherwise, wonderful work. And the most important thing, and the thing that we have to encourage and not lose sight of, is the technical can be learned. There's a million YouTube channels going, this is how you do reverb. I mean, that's the one I saw yesterday. It was like all about reverb. And it's like, I get this. I get that we can do this. But it's all about context, isn't it? It's all about, this is why we do this, why we do the Feedback Friday, and the why we talk about it is because we bring this into context rather than just putting out endless copycat videos of how to boost and cut frequencies and compression and reverb. This is the next level stuff, because you all integrating and talking to each other and being part of a community is what makes this completely valuable. This is really, really important. So help each other out. And you are, sorry, I don't want to tell you that. You are helping each other out. And this is just like the next level for us where we get to do it. Yes, the creativity of the mix. We should always be looking at that and looking at the production ideas and then bringing in the technical and balancing that stuff out. You know, it's really, really important. Anybody can learn the technical. Somebody asked me yesterday, I think it's in today's video. What was the question, Eric? What was the question exactly? It was something about, do I use my ears, or it's a really good question.
Do you only mix by ear, or do you go by feel?
He said, do I only mix by ear or do I go by feel? And basically I said, I go by feel and then use my ear to make mixed decisions. That's basically it. I sit there and I listen and I go, oh, I want this to be, I don't go brighter or darker. I'm like, I want this to feel like this or feel like that. And then I use my ear to make those decisions. And I think that that is what all of the great mixers share in common, and why it gets really, really complicated and people don't understand when they're watching Andy Wallace and he's making decisions and they're like, he needs to explain that. And he does need to explain that. But the reality is he's making like micro decisions based on 1,000 different things. Like going, if I just boost 3K on this and cut it on that and boost 200 on this and do that and cut this, everything will fit together better. And that's really, how do you do that? You separate and just talk about making the bass guitar sound better? That's not how it works. It's about how they all relate to each other. And that's a big, big deal. All right. So, I'm listening to great work though, Nick. Great creativity. All right, next up is Pass Momo.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away, sizing up the line I've crossed 100 times, taking count